The Philistines were gathered for battle against the nation of Israel. The two armies stood facing each other on opposite hills with a valley between them. The Philistine champion was named Goliath. He was a giant and stood nearly 3 meters tall. On his head was a helmet of bronze, and his body was covered in very heavy metal armor. He carried a massive javelin between his shoulders, a big sword at his side, with an iron-headed spear in his hand. For 40 days, the giant Goliath taunted Israel.
"Why are you all coming to fight? Choose one man and let him come to face me. If he is able to kill me, then we will be your servants. But if I kill him, then you will be our slaves. I challenge you. Give me a man who will fight me."
King Saul and all Israel's army grew more and more afraid. Morning and evening, the scene repeated itself as the giant terrorized Israel's army. Jesse's 3 oldest sons were soldiers in Israel's army. But David, the youngest, had gone back to care for his father's sheep. One day, Jesse said to David,
"Take this bread to your brothers and cheese to their commanders. Now go quickly to the camp and bring back some news about your brothers."
David rose early, left his sheep with a keeper, and went to the camp. When he arrived, he saw both armies going out to the front line. He ran through the ranks until he found his brothers. As he talked with them, the giant Goliath came forward and spoke as before. This time, David heard him. He heard the threats of the Philistine champion and his cursing. He watched the Israelite soldiers tremble and flee from the front line. David asked the men around him,
"What shall be done for the man who kills this Philistine? Who does this guy think he is to challenge the armies of the living God?"
"The man who kills Goliath will receive great riches, and even the king's daughter in marriage." Eliab, David's older brother, heard David questioning the men around him.
"David, why have you really come? And who is watching those little sheep back home? I know you. You've just come to see the battle. What have I done to upset you?"
Then he turned away from Eliab and continued talking with the army. When the king heard of David's courageous words, he sent for him. David stood before the king with boldness.
"Let no man's heart fail because of this giant. I will go and fight this Philistine myself."
"You can't go. You're too young. He has been fighting battles since before you were born."
But David was not discouraged.
"I'm a shepherd. Once I killed a lion who came after my father's sheep with my bare hands. And a bear. The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear will also deliver me from the hand of this vile Philistine, because he has challenged the armies of the living God."
Saul was speechless. But finally he said,
"Go, and may the Lord go with you."
Then Saul gave David his own armor. David tried it on, but it was too big and uncomfortable.
"I can't go to battle like this. I've never worn armor before."
So David took it off and went to face the giant with only his shepherd's staff, his leather sling, and 5 smooth stones that he took from a nearby brook. When the Philistine saw young David coming towards him, he mocked him.
"Am I a dog that you come to me with sticks? By my gods, I will give your flesh to the birds of the air and to the beasts of the field."
"You come to me with a sword, but I come to you in the name of the Lord, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have challenged. This day my God will deliver you into my hands, and I will cut off your head, for the battle is the Lord's."
Now Goliath was angry, and he came at David to attack him. David ran boldly towards the giant. Reaching his hand into his bag, he took out 1 smooth stone. Then he swung his sling round and round in the air. 1, 2, 3, and away the stone went. It hit the giant right in the forehead, and he fell to the ground. David had killed the giant with only a sling and a stone. David took Goliath's sword and cut off his head. When the Philistines saw that their champion was dead, they fled. Then the army of Israel rose with a shout and pursued the Philistines back to their own country, fighting them all the way. On their way back, they plundered the Philistine camp before returning victorious to Jerusalem.